And so, welcome to the first Monday night of the Ask and It Is Given book study. I'm glad that everybody found the notice and the change and everything, and that we're all here. Welcome. I wanted to, of course, start with asking everybody, how did we do with process 13? Which thought feels better? Does anybody have any experiences that you would like to share regarding this process? Did you practice it over the last couple of weeks? Were there any experiences that you had? I did something very interesting, and it's kind of funny because I feel like that I almost went backwards on which thought feels better. I got the opportunity to share with Sonia the other day because we were communicating a little bit, but um, I sing. I love to sing, and that's something that I've always done. And in my past, I have not only sung with musicians, but I've written some original, songs and things like that. And
Oh,
so the last 5 or 6 months, I've been helping a friend of mine that we host an open mic once a month at the American Legion post that I belong to. And so it's funny because I've been really feeling the call to want to do music again and to write lyrics. But I have always felt a little intimidated because I do not have the talent of playing an instrument. And so I decided to put myself out, and I went onto Craigslist. And on Craigslist, there's a thing under musicians where musicians can put themselves out there and connect with other musicians. And I decided to throw myself out there, and I got several responses back. And I have met a guitarist. His name is Greg. And amazingly enough, he is a musician that has pieces that he's written in guitar, but he does not write lyrics and he does not sing. And so I was the exact person that he was looking for, and he was the exact person that I was looking for. And so not only have we connected, but because he already had some music written, we already have one original written and another one in process. And so I just it's funny because over the last few weeks I've been thinking about the thought that I had about, why would I put myself out there? Why would a musician want to be looking for me? Because generally they'll write their own songs or they'll sing their own music. Who am I to think that I could put myself out there on a musician page, and instead of all of those thoughts, I just sort of did it without thinking. And then afterwards, the negative thoughts kind of came in, but it was already too late for those to take hold because I already had the experience of responses and connection and all of that stuff. And so I'm super excited because I'm going to be, doing a few songs this weekend at the open mic. And so that's been something that's been a very exciting addition to my world. And then a part of me is like, did I really need an addition to my world? But you know what? This brings me
yes, you do.
this joy. This brings me joy. And that's exactly why I did it. And that's the only focus of it. And that is what it is. And so I had a great experience with this which thought feels better process over the last couple of weeks, and I have blown through that with this new addition to my life that I have added. So I'm super excited about it. And when I get a little bit of a cleaner recording of the song, I'll definitely share it with you all because the lyrics were written in the in the idea of everything that we study. And so I think it's beautiful, and so does the guitarist and Sonia.
I
Loves
just
the
wanted
lyrics.
to chime in too because I heard it and I felt more than anything else, I felt the beautiful vibration of it.
Oh, thank
So it's I know you said it was just a rough draft and
yeah.
everything, but it was lovely.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. So as soon as I get a little bit of a less rough draft together, I will share it out with everybody so that you guys can hear what it is. But yeah, super exciting and fun. Yeah. So,
And I also want to say something about the this particular process, because I know the first few times I tried using it, I could not get into it. It just seems so, I don't know, like a waste of effort. Of course, it seems so obvious which thought feels better, right? Like, why am I wasting my time with this? Yes, it feels better to think good thoughts than it does to think bad thoughts, or to think positive thoughts versus negative thoughts. It seems so obvious. But here's the reason why we do this particular process. And it's not just because you want to be able to show yourself what you're thinking or whatever, but as you do this, one, it's making you really, really aware of your usual thoughts. So you bring up a topic and you're like, okay, this is my thought on this topic. Okay, well, that might be true, or maybe that's what I've been thinking, but how can I talk about this and make it feel better? And that's, I think, where this really comes into play. It's it's not just trying to compare this to that, this to that, this to that. It's okay, so this is the thought that I am thinking. I want this thought to feel better. And I know I can't jump. I can't go from down here to all the way up there. I can only move slowly toward what feels better. So I'm just going to take it piece by piece by piece. So, what thought feels better than the one that I just had, or the one that I am trying to get over? And that's what we're doing with this. We're actually just trying to take little baby steps to talk ourselves into a better feeling thought. And I did not understand that for the longest time. So I don't know if anybody else had the same, like, I don't really care about this one or not. But if you can understand how it helps you, it might make more sense. It might be more fun.
yeah, yeah. Well, and the thing is, like we've talked about in the past, you don't, you need to know truly where you're at to know
Yes.
how to get where you want to go, right? And
Mhm.
so taking a moment to realize, like you said, where your thoughts are gives you the direction. Then, okay, that's not where I want to be. So what thought does feel better? What is that next better thought? So yeah. And any other thoughts or experiences that we've had with the which thought feels better process over the last few weeks?
Leo has his hand up.
Leo?
Thank you, Sonia. So, um, yeah, I think that it's important in that calibration process to have smaller increments that you can move towards, because sometimes you can't get to the better feeling thought that's 100% better, and you can't get to 50%, and you can't quite get to 10%. But if you can get to 1% better, then that's good, because that's a step in the right direction. So if you're doing that process and you're able to find smaller increments of where you can go, then that gives you kind of like some more tools in your toolbox, so to speak. And if you have to kind of go from like 1% to 2% better, you have more experience working through those um, smaller increment types of thoughts and feelings, because that happened with me, I think, about a month ago. Like, I couldn't get to 10% better, but I'm like, oh, I think I can get to 1% better. And then that opens the doorway for you to kind of climb the rungs on that ladder, so to speak. So yeah, like Sonia said, at first it may seem like I don't need to do this. Uh, do it anyway, and then see what happens. Just kind of see what happens, because
Yeah,
that's the great part about all this, is that you can experiment with it. And I find having those smaller increments helps a lot.
yeah, yeah.
So, so yeah, more precision tools.
Thank you so much, Leo. Elena?
Yeah, I love how Leo articulates that, and could not agree more with what Sonia said. Um, I think it really takes some not just practice, but kind of to get enough information about law of attraction, whoever the teachings you are taking in from. It could be Abraham Hicks, it could be Bashar, it could be any other channelers. And I totally agree. So many people, especially at the beginning, do not understand the value of this exercise. And to me personally, I know that several years ago, I finally got it when we did the other practice, the wheel. I forgot how it's
The
called.
focus wheel.
Yeah, the focus wheel. Because there is also in that exercise, if you add which thought feels better, which next step feels better, it kind of they are related to each other. And so I think for people who especially either haven't had time to really believe in this exercise, or for people who don't see much value in this, like Sonia said, like, why would I spend some time? Why would I almost like waste my time thinking about this or doing this exercise? However, exactly doing that exercise and the value of it is when you finally connect to your feelings, because it's not about the better thought, it's the thought which feels better. And when people finally do the exercise, and let's say in 5 minutes they already feel better, it's like, wow, it really works. That's usually the reaction I'm getting from people. And to share my personal experience, well, Christina and Leo, we did this kind of a little bit a different version of this exercise on my meetup on Wednesday. And kind of we went through the whole thing, really seeing and analyzing, and of course adding more and more how to guide your thoughts and therefore invite better feelings into this exercise. An interesting thing happened last week, end of the week. One of my former clients called me like at about probably 9 p.m. totally in tears. Kind of her heart was broken because her, I even don't know how, her date, her prospect to become a boyfriend texted her to break up with her. And so the way she presented it was really bad. More I talked to her, more I realized it's not really bad. The guy actually is very kind of acting in a fair manner. I probably wouldn't, if he would ask me, I probably would tell him, well, send this text in the morning, not in the evening. However, while we were talking, and she does know about Abraham Hicks, and I did offer her this exercise. I thought, well, actually, this exercise is perfect in this situation. However, her emotional state did not allow her even to go and to focus and think clearly. So I needed to offer her my calibration process to do so. So next morning, we did the calibration, and afterwards I offered her the same exercise, and it went so well, like easy, so nicely. And she was like, why did I cry yesterday? Today everything is so understandable, make totally sense. She was, well, of course, calibration did help her, because while she connected with her higher self, and when her higher self started to tell her about her own value, of course, it was not as painful as it felt the night before. And yeah, the exercise really simple and really powerful. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I do too. The game was a lot of fun on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, and any other thoughts or ideas regarding this process before we move forward? Yes, Leo.
Okay, I think this is an important tidbit that I'll include. I think Effervescent Elena will agree, because I know we've spoken about this before, is sometimes you can't get to even 1% better because you're just not in a place mentally and emotionally where you can even get there. So sometimes you have to just stay at 0 and just be neutral and just maintain that, because you can put your car into drive and go forward. Sometimes you got to put the car in neutral or park and just sit. It's okay to like take a pause, and then when you feel up to it, then you can say, okay, I think I'm ready to go for that maybe 10% better, 1% better. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with being neutral for a moment either. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I agree. And with that, like we do a lot in the EFT tapping in the beginning, even though this is where I am, I love and accept myself just as I am. And sometimes even that, even though it's not necessarily working to alter that thought, it can soften where you're at to just accept where you are. So I definitely agree with that. Yes, Sonia?
I just wanted to add also that sometimes if the vibration of whatever it is you're talking about is so active, you can't move. You can't. You cannot move from where you are because it is the momentum is too great. And you are, in effect, stuck where you are until you restart the day, until you back off from it and take that time to completely disconnect from your conscious thoughts and the momentum you have going. So you have to, sometimes it really does take, because the momentum is so great, it does take to just start the next day. Don't even try doing, today's not the day to do this exercise. Wait until you have a restart.
Yeah. Yes, Elena?
Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I just love this last part. Like Leo, Christina, and Sonia, such beautiful tips and nuances. It's just kind of diving deep, beautiful. What I wanted also to say, in psychology, it is known, and nowadays more and more psychologists like pointing this out. So quite often people talk and even create more stories in their mind about what had happened. And more they talk about those stories, more the way how they talk, more of those emotions related to that they would invite and feel more. And then let's say more negative thoughts, more negative emotions, and then people feel like being trapped. Yet they were not taught to relate and to notice and relate to those emotions. However, in psychology, it is known as a fact that when a person is even recognizing and naming or calling this emotion, you kind of like allow yourself to feel it. That's what our body actually wants, to allow ourselves to feel that emotion. And when we do this, it already decreasing the value or actual intensity of this emotion. That's important. So sometimes I actually do this even with people on kind of like random conversations. When a person start telling me a story and I understand that that will evoke more of negative emotion, I would just say, and how do you feel right now? Or how do you feel? Or how did you feel when this happened? And people would say, oh my gosh, I was so frustrated. Even just naming the emotion and allowing yourself to feel it for several seconds already decreasing the intensity.
Yeah.
So just kind of a little tip
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. And I would add to that too, that it's important for us to allow it to come out of our body. Because a lot of times we bring it up to the head, and like you said, you're spinning the same story and regurgitating the same emotions. But one of the keys that we miss is the body movement to allow your body to as well dispel and release that. Yes. Leo?
Okay, I got another tidbit in regards to what Elena just said, I believe can be helpful. So, do you remember the 1900s? Do you remember the Atari 2600 game console? You know, so on that on those games, if the screen would freeze, there was a button on the console called reset, and you would hit the reset button and it would refresh the screen. So when I find myself in a situation, kind of like what Sonny was saying before, where you have so much momentum that you can't move forward because it's just too intense, I say, okay, Leo, stop, bring the vehicle to a complete stop, put it in park, take a breath, and then, maybe after a night's sleep, you come back the next day, right, and you start over, and you hit that refresh button, right, and you hit the reset button, and then you're a little more able to move forward. So yeah, sometimes you got to hit that reset button.
It reminds me, I don't know if anyone here has ever watched the show The IT Crowd, but they get tons of calls, of course, with people with computer issues, and the big line, have you turned it off and turned it on again? Have you turned your computer off and turned it on again? Like that's almost their whole job is to reboot. Okay, well, all right. So I think we've had a lot of good feedback regarding which thought feels better. And Leo, if you are ready, I think we will allow you, sir, to move into meditation.
Okay, I am nearly ready here. I'd like to preface the meditation that I'm going to do tonight with the following. So I'm thinking I want to do something a little different tonight. In the past, the meditations I've done have revolved around relaxation, because I figure if you can relax the mind, you can relax the body. And if you can relax the body, you relax the nervous system, and then you relax your energy, and then you don't have a lot of physical resistance going on in the body. And then when you go to set your intention to manifest, you're not front loading it with active or passive resistance going on in the body, kind of like also Christina and Sonny have been doing an EFT, giving the body like a moment to relax, So what I want to do is I have to go to my other screen here, a meditation that kind of combines the relaxation aspect, but also with a little bit of the positive affirmations that we've already heard in EFT. So this is what I call a becoming meditation. And this one is going to center around three of my favorite words: abundance, prosperity, and opportunity. or what I call APO for short. So when you're ready, if you already haven't done so, we'll start by muting our devices. This way there's no interruptions or distractions throughout this process. Also, be sure to kindly mute your microphone so we can have a clean recording. When you're ready, slowly, gently, and gradually allow your eyes to close. Not forcing, but allowing it to happen. Feeling the seat beneath you and the floor beneath your feet. We're going to start with 3 deep cleansing breaths. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Continuing to breathe. I'm going to invite you to explore a series of positive affirmations revolving around abundance, prosperity, and opportunity. Wouldn't it be great if abundance, prosperity, and opportunity were my default mode? What would that look like? How would that feel? I live in a universe of abundance. I realize I am not separate from it, but am a part of it. There is always more than enough. In fact, I now have so much abundance, I have to give the extra away. I now vibrate at the frequency of abundance. Continuing to breathe. I am always prosperous. In fact, I find that it becomes easier every day. I bring my many skill sets with me, even the ones I am not consciously aware of. I enjoy the unfolding of the never-ending discovery of my many gifts and talents. I now vibrate at the frequency of prosperity. Continuing to breathe. I now see doorways of opportunity opening for me. I now feel the joy of opportunity before me. I now walk through the doorway of opportunity. I now vibrate at the frequency of opportunity. Continuing to breathe. I am becoming abundance, prosperity, and opportunity now. I have become abundance, prosperity, and opportunity now. I am now vibrating at the frequency of abundance, prosperity, and opportunity now. I can sense every atom within my being coming into alignment and vibrating at the frequency of abundance, prosperity, and opportunity now. I love it when that happens. Now we're going to do 3 deep cleansing breaths. Here we go. Inhale, abundance. Exhale. Inhale, prosperity. Exhale. Inhale, opportunity. Hold it. And exhale, big release. Continuing to breathe. Taking a moment to give thanks for this opportunity to check in with the body and the breath. Also, to fine tune the frequency of our vibration. And now, whenever you're ready, slowly, gently, and gradually bringing your attention and awareness back to this time and space, wiggling your toes and fingers, feeling the seat beneath you and the floor beneath your feet. You can now open your eyes whenever you are ready by saying the words in your mind, wide awake, wide awake. Okay, we'll just take a moment to soak that in.
Thank you so much, Leo.
You're welcome so much.
I really appreciated the addition of the intention with each breath at the end. I love that. I thought that was really great. Anchoring it in. How's everybody doing? Yes, Leo.
Yeah, I was just going to say I wanted to do something a little different tonight. So,
No, I loved it.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
I loved it too.
Different. It was different and it was so good.
Yes, I agree.
I actually love that different varieties we're providing from different people and kind of exploring different ways of connecting to each other, connecting to the universe, kind of being guided into something different. And yet, how much of a good and beautiful effect it has on us.
Yes.
Thank you, Leo.
Yes, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that definitely put us in the right position to be able to pull what chapter and process we're going to read tonight. So I'd like everybody to take a moment and let's set the intention that the process and chapter that is for the highest good for our group for this evening will be revealed. All right, so it looks like this evening we are going to be reading chapter and process number 2. Let me get that pulled up on our screen here. Okay, so chapter 2, we are keeping our promise to you, and process 2, the magical creation box. I love this one. And I just want to make sure, I know that Donna is not able to participate in reading tonight. I want to know if everyone else is okay. If you are not able to read, please let me know so that I can take you off of the list. And if for some reason, yes, Sydney?
Hi. I don't actually have the book. I have an audio book, so I don't have a text.
I actually pull it up on the screen. So if you want to read from the screen, you would be able to, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, you don't have to either.
I'm sorry, I think I accidentally muted myself and I didn't
Oh.
tell you to No, I'm fine reading. I apologize. Yeah, I'll read.
Okay, yeah, and no apologies necessary. Not at
Okay.
all. Okay, all right. Okay, so before we get started with the reading, I did want to put it out there. The way that we've been running the group this go around is giving everybody that would like to an opportunity to share a meditation, just like Leo did this evening. Traditionally in the past, I was doing EFT tapping, and I know per request, I did do a tapping meditation last time, but I would like to know if anyone here in the group this evening knows if you would be available and would like to provide the meditation for our next meeting. Oh, yes, Leo.
I was just going to say, for people that might think to themselves, I can't do that, you can do it. That meditation that I did tonight, the last week and a half, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had some ideas, but I wasn't locked in on anything. And then yesterday afternoon, I was sitting here staring off into space, and I thought, what should I do? I'm just going to be open to possibilities. And that script, every word of it, within about 10 to 20 minutes, just popped into my head. I'm like, well, I guess I just downloaded something here, so I think I'll write it down. And then I rehearsed it last night, and then I rehearsed it again this afternoon. It's not that hard if you're open to receiving the sort of divine inspiration. The idea can come to you, and you rehearse it a little bit. If you can make it around 10 minutes or so, that seems to be what the EFTs are. I'd be interested to anyone else that wants to do one. I would love to see what other people come up with. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree.
I'm cheering you on.
Okay, well, I will go ahead and take it for next time if I do not hear from anybody else that would like to, but I would definitely love to encourage you all to consider it. I think it's been fun for the different people that have shared to be able to come and do that. And I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity, but I do create a separate script with just the meditation on the YouTube, so you can actually go back and hear the past meditations that have been done, and it's pretty cool. So if you're not comfortable with committing to it tonight, that's perfectly okay. But I would love for you to consider that, and maybe you'll consider volunteering for the next time. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, well, with that, I am going to go ahead and put the chapter up on screen, and we can get ready to read chapter 2. All right, so I am happy to report that when we were reading the very first part of this chapter and the questions that they were asking us, in this moment this evening, I was one of the people that was able to say yes. And so I am really thrilled to have that experience, to be reading this and to be feeling that side of the stick in my life. And so I just thought I would share that because that was very exciting for me in this moment. How did everybody else feel about this chapter?
I was just writing, I was answering the question, what does it mean to be an energy healer? What does it mean to be a healer? What does that mean? Put that into words for somebody. And one of the things that was coming through very clearly with that was that I enjoy being aware of this knowledge and sharing this knowledge. And from that perspective, how can you not love the creation of what you're creating? Because it's all a source of joy. Everything, when you come at it with that intention, everything's an expression of joy then, because I'm doing this for the fun of it. I'm doing this for, my intention is to enjoy it, to be able to say, yes, I do feel the freshness of a new desire when it pulses within me. Yes, I do feel excitement and eagerness for these steps.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, well, at least for me in my in my joy bubble right now, I can even appreciate the contrast for what it is, right? Because that's what launches our direction and our trajectory into our next adventure. Any other thoughts or ideas before we move on to reading the process this evening? Yes, Leo.
Okay. I just forgot what I was going to say. um, oh, that I remember now. So I know in my study of the Abraham materials on YouTube that one of the things they keep repeating is uh, the whole thing of human beings wanting to have it right now, and the impatience, and then the ensuing frustration and all of that. And what they recommend is that we enter into the enjoyment of the unfolding of it. Like, we've placed the order, it's on its way. It might not quite be here just yet, but the enjoying of the unfolding of it. And I think that's something a lot of people miss, and that's what I've been working at the last, I think, maybe year or two, is just saying, I've placed my order, it's on its way, and while that's in process, I can enter into an enjoyment of, yeah, it's unfolding, you
Yeah.
know. That can be a little bit of a challenge, especially if you want it right now, but I understand why they keep repeating that. Because that helps to prevent the mana frustration,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I think I might have shared this perspective once before, but I heard something once, that talks about where you want to be, right? And where you are now. And the idea is that once you've launched a rocket of new desire, and that's where you want to go, there is also the unfolding of all of the things that have already happened here that must play out as you're moving up into that level. And so a lot of times, and this is what we are practicing, is holding for the vibration up here while we are moving through the experiences that are unfolding from what's already been manifested before. And so it's like holding two realities at the same time: the reality of where we are and the frequency of where we want to be. And I believe also that that's why they're talking to us a lot about, don't necessarily put too much stock into what you're seeing right before you, because what you're seeing right before you is already the manifestation of what you've unfolded already. And so it's like holding two different lines of frequency at the same time. And what are you paying attention to? And so I always like that visualization, because I feel like that it kind of helps me remember that, that it's okay that maybe there are things that are unfolding right at the moment that don't exactly match where you're headed, but those have to play out for you to move forward and onward and upward into that new place. Patience is a powerful creative state. Thank you, Sydney. Yeah, Jamie Price. Any other thoughts before we move into the process? Okay, we'll go ahead and get that up on screen. Okay, I really love it because Leo, as you were bringing up the idea that they talk a lot about patience and enjoying the process of allowing things to unfold, I feel like that's exactly what we were reading about here, the enjoyment of the unfolding. And so I love that you were just kind of touching base on that, and then our process is kind of all about it right now. Yes, Sonia.
It's it's funny because it's also a conversation we were having in um we have a Discord channel, so we were having a discussion about one of our members who just came to this clear understanding that it is becoming the becoming part that we need to be okay with. We want so much to have our eye on the ball, what the target is, and let's keep focusing on the target and stop complaining about where we are and keep focusing on the target where we want to be, and stop complaining and noticing and observing what is, and focus on the target. But here's the thing, if you just keep focusing on the target, almost always you're going to be focusing on what isn't yet. And so it's really important if we can just say, I know it's happening. I can trust this process. And you know what? I don't have to figure it out. I can just sit back and enjoy and know that it's all going to work out for me because the universe is always working things out for me. So it's okay. And I can enjoy what's happening right now. And I can trust that it's becoming.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Ellen.
Hi, I'm wondering how this is different from a vision board. And I remember hearing a YouTube conversation where Esther Abraham was speaking with someone from the audience who was using vision boards. And they said, don't use the vision board because what you can imagine is puny compared to what your inner being can create for you and imagine for you. And they said to instead imagine the feeling of having the thing. So I guess in this case, it might be like imagine a rug and how the rug would feel and how you'd feel when you were walking on it and how you'd feel when you looked at it and how it would make your room feel when it's laying in your whichever room you'd like it. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like throwing that out there. Vision boards, I think, are good too. But in that conversation, that made me question the limited use of a vision board, or in this case, I think also the creation box. I don't know, just throwing that out there.
Can I jump in on this one? Because I do recall this conversation. Excuse me. So one of the things about a vision board is it's always right there. So whatever you put up on there, you're going to keep looking at it. You're going to keep seeing it. And the reason, I guess the biggest way that these two things are different is that once you put it in the creation box, you're not actually looking at it anymore. You put it in there, and now it is you trusting that the universe is on it. It's already working on it. And the vision board can, once again, it's that here are the things that I want, but I'm recognizing right now that they haven't happened yet. And so while I'm looking at my vision board and I'm noticing all the things that haven't happened, I'm activating their lack, their absence. And so by not looking at it, by putting it in a box and not having it in front of me to remind me that it hasn't yet manifested, I'm allowing that energy to build, or at least not to add resistance to it.
Yeah. And I think
Thanks, Sonia.
I think regardless of whether it's on a vision board or in a box, the key is exactly what you said, that you're wanting to find the feeling. And so if you're looking at that thing and you're concentrating on, I don't, I want it, I don't have it, I want it, I don't have it, you're not concentrating on the feeling of what it feels like to have it. And I believe that is like you pointed it out, that's the key to it, is getting into the mode of that feeling. And so I think if you're keeping that in mind, then maybe the visualization wouldn't be hindering you. But I could see where it could be if all you're focused on is, I don't have this yet, it's not in my life yet, yeah. Leo?
Yeah, I was going to say, when it comes to things like vision boards, affirmations, things like that, those are tools. And my father, he was a master craftsman, and when I was younger, he said, "Son, the right tool for the right job." So I think I've used this analogy before. If you want to draw a straight line, normally you would use a ruler. Now, could you draw a straight line without it? Yeah, I mean, if you really focus and concentrate, you could draw a straight line without a ruler, but the ruler is a tool that helps you to get that precision, to get it like right on perfectly straight. That's how I look at vision boards and affirmations and things like that. They're just tools to kind of help you get in there and fine tune it some more. But the secret is not in the vision board. The secret is in you. You're the secret. you know. So what I did years ago, and I mentioned this in a previous meeting, that I thought, well, I've done the vision board and that seems to work, but what else could I do? How could I take it to the next level? How much better can it get? So then I had this clear plastic box and I thought, wait a minute, I can just put three-dimensional objects in there, and now I have a vision box. So whenever I want to look at those things, I can keep it on my desk and I can look into the vision box and I can see the little matchbox car because I'm thinking of maybe a new vehicle. Or I can put like a little action figure in there and I can think, hey, I want to go have some fun and excitement or whatever it is. So the nice thing about a vision box is you can see it and you can reach inside and pull those things out and hold them in your hands. And like I was saying before, get into the enjoyment of the unfolding of it. Like, yes, I've placed my order, it's on its way. But in the meantime, I like the way it feels when I hold this matchbox car in my hands and I'm thinking about that new vehicle, because that little matchbox car is just a holographic representation of the car that's in process anyway, because the universe really can't tell the difference, because it's really just all in your intention. So but I also like the idea of the creation box, because if you don't want to be like looking at it all the time, it's kind of like a set and forget where you can just put it in there and it just goes away, and you're not constantly focused on it all the time. So I would just invite people to experiment and test drive both of those. I personally, I like the vision box because I want to see it and I want to kind of put my hands in there and I want to kind of like move things around, and I enjoy that. And it's like Sonia has said before, you have to enjoy it. It has to be an enjoyable experience for you, because if not, then it's tedium and you're not going to enjoy it, and then you're working against yourself anyway. So it's like, why are you doing it? So there should, I agree, there should be some enjoyment there.
Well, and you place it in the box and then you don't have to worry about it anymore, and you can just go on having fun in your life, knowing that what is out there is coming,
Right.
Yeah.
And you can also view the box as your vortex. right? That's,
Yeah.
hey,
Pretty much what
that's
it is, yeah.
that's in my vortex, and you're creating a three-dimensional representation of your vortex. But I like what was said before in the book about how Esther had that thought pop into her head, and she's like, well, wait, that's not what I want to experience. And then it goes into like the reject pile, reject, right? um and that's what I've really been enjoying over the last, I'd say, year of studying and experimenting and practicing with this, is I'm now more finely tuning myself. So when a thought does come up that's like not really in alignment, I go, well, wait a minute, I don't want to feel that way. And then it's easier for me to do the pivoting and, turn away from it, instead of just like being overwhelmed that a stray thought popped into my head. um, but ultimately it has to work for you, because if it's not working for you, it's not the right tool for the right job. So food for thought.
I know that for myself, I get happy when this process comes up because I have my creation box and I have had this for a while now. And so I get all excited to bring out my little heart box and know that I'm going to be putting whatever is in this box is. But last time we also discussed the idea that you can create a folder on your computer to do this exercise if you want to. It's not the same as having this box or tearing out pictures, but I know for myself personally what I liked about it. I mean, being able to scroll the Google and find a picture and, ooh, I love that, and just put it in my folder. That is also kind of fun. So I actually do also have a folder on my computer, and I'll try to do a little bit of both of them to kind of keep that going. But that, there's all kinds of alternatives for the way that you could put that together. Yes, Sonia.
Thank you. One of the reasons why I really appreciate the computer folder and doing it that way is you just go, you just do it. You're not taking the time to cut it out. You're just dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming. You're just saving pictures and dumping them in the thing, and you're moving quickly. You're not stopping to really think about things. And then, because when you do, that's when those little buts start creeping in. Well, I would love, how am I ever going to make that happen? But you don't stop for that. You don't pause for those. You just keep going and find the next picture. And yeah, Pinterest is fun for that because it's just pictures, isn't it? And it's like law of attraction in pictures. Pinterest is. You just put in a keyword, and then all of this stuff that you're talking about just starts popping up.
Yeah. And any other thoughts, ideas, or questions about this process? Yes, Elena.
I have a really funny story about about those vision boards and stuff like that. And what I want to first say that I love those discussions, because each and every time those discussions bring in new ideas or new nuances. And we really live in such abundant time, even though we are experiencing lots of uncomfortableness because of different things happening in the world. And at the same time, there are more and more opportunities opening up, like different type of applications where you can really just use your phone, little device, or whatever your favorite device, and do things. Or you can choose to do it in a way how probably 30 years ago people could do this, like, going through the actual magazines and stuff like that. It's really allowing people to do what is most comfortable to do. Like, how do you get into your comfort zone? How do you get into your excitement zone? Some people really like touch those pictures, cut them. This is also exciting process for them. And for some people, like Sonia just said, okay, if you don't want to cut and go through the magazines, then just do it digitally. This is so cool. So the funny story I wanted to share, several years ago, several of us from our group in Seattle received a request if we would help to form one of the new group in Olympia. From Seattle to Olympia, it's an hour and a half to drive. And they had been meeting in the evening time. So we would need to drive exactly in the rush hour. And we took this opportunity to practice different things, different processes from this book, like manifesting nice and relaxing road and stuff like that. And because of we were like 3 strong Abrahamses, we really had been playing in those 1 hour and a half. So one day we came and there was a gentleman totally new to law of attraction. And the questions he asked quite often would put a smile onto your face. By hearing this, it's like, yeah, we know this, and how silly it is that this person doesn't know this. And yeah, those questions always helped us to even kind of get and go in deeper into the knowledge. So one day when we discussed similar topic, he said, okay, I do know this process. I had been really doing this with kids in the church, and I can tell you it doesn't work. So we asked him to tell us more what he had done. I hope that everybody will understand this kind of humorous in this situation. So he was leading whatever group of kids. And one day he wanted to apply something similar process. So he asked them, what is your biggest desire? What you are dreaming for? And the kids started to tell him. So he wrote down all of those desires. And then they decided to keep this list of those desires with their names. And then next time he offered them to bring pictures of their desires or whatever they would find. And kids would come and kind of put pictures next to those lines with their name and what is their desire. And so each Sunday when they met, he would ask them, okay, whose desire is already happened? Kind of, who can report? And they would go one after another, and kids would say, no, my desire did not come to me. No, my desire did not come to me. No, my desire did not come. So next Sunday, the same process. Did not come to me, did not come to me. Next Sunday, same thing. So, of course, he started to tell us that, well, this doesn't work because actually after several Sundays, it created such a huge negative feelings that nobody actually achieved anything, nobody got anything. So kind of when you know enough about law of attraction and Abraham Hicks teaching, you understand why it did not work, clearly what they had been focusing on. And when we started to explain that and had really good, did really have a good discussion about that, when finally for him it was this aha moment that he actually had been focusing and kept the focus of all kids on something that did not come through, that did not happen, kind of focusing on the absence of this instead of using different tools to enhance that. So what I love about Creation Box, whether it is physical or imaginary or digital, is that when you would have the urge to come to and open this box, really, if we think about this, when we are really in alignment with this, or when we want to raise our vibrations, or when we're already high enough, and then you just wanna those extra things to enhance it even more, then you open your creation box, or it's like, oh my gosh, this is my treasure chest. Let me open it up. What I had been dreaming about. Oh, this sounds really good. Oh, this looks so elegant. I really would love to have something like that, or even better. And so when you know different tools, and you can even enhance that, like, oh, wouldn't that be nice to have this? Oh my gosh, I can put it in this room, or I can have this, or I can create this with that. So to me, it's really when people have the understanding, how would you use this tool and when would you use this tool? How to prepare yourself to even open that treasure box? What kind of feelings you want to enhance? So, yeah. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, and
Thank you
like,
for listening.
yeah, and like Sonia said, not keeping score,
Yeah.
you know? And just like you said, opening the box with the intention of just enjoying what's in there, not opening the box with the intention of check marking what has and what
Mhm.
hasn't arrived yet, you know? Yeah, yeah. Okay, oh, yes, Leo.
I was also going to add, whether you have a vision board, creation box, vision box, whatever you're using, if you want to go back to look at it, not doing that with the fear of, oh, it's not going to it hasn't shown up yet, so if I just stare at this vision board hard enough, then I'm going to force it into happening. It's right, exactly. It's just the enjoyment of, I'm just going to go see what's in my vortex. I haven't looked at it in a while. Oh, look, 3 of those things already showed up. Look at that. Maybe I'll create some new things I can put in there. And you're having fun with it, like a child opening a coloring book and a box of crayons. It's the exploration, the creation, the fun of it, instead of like this serious task that you have to do. Okay, I got to get this done. This has to happen. Now I got to get in there, and you're getting in your own way. If you just let go of it and just have fun with it, it tends to show up easier, faster, better, awesomer, because you're not front loading it with a bunch of resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we've discussed that before, and I think that's been like our topic throughout the evening as well. But like, I think that's why a lot of people do give up on affirmation work and things like that, because when they're doing it, they're not digging into the wonderful feelings of what their desires are and letting go of when it's going to come. They're focusing and concentrating on what I don't have, what I don't have, what I don't have, and then they just decide, oh, this affirmation's not working for me, and it's because the feeling is not in the same place as the affirmation. You could be saying the words all day long, but if your underlying tone is not in a vibrational match with it, you're not digging into that affirmation or that vision board or that desire. Yeah. Yes, Leo.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just in addition to that, if you're doing the vision board and the affirmations and all these sorts of things, it's the real-time experience of feeling the feeling of having it now and stepping into it as if you could be inside the feeling of it, like as if the feeling was a blanket you could wrap around yourself. I find that when I do that, it shows up quick. Like sometimes I'm surprised at how fast it shows up, like it doesn't take a month or a week. Sometimes it's the same day. Sometimes it's within an hour, because when you couple what it is you want with the feeling of having it now, and you kind of like stay out of your own way, it has no choice. It has to show up. It has to. So yeah, I think if you have the vision board, the affirmations and then you couple it with the feeling of it, that's a powerful combination. And that's really what I've been, practicing the last few years, is doing that.
Yeah. And for myself, it's been, if I've really been digging into the whole idea of, if this topic is too hot for me to be able to do that, then I'm just going to go feel joy over here and trust and have faith that that's working its magic over there. And I feel like that I'm seeing some of the results of that coming around for me right now. Whereas I have truly, truly made it my mission that right now my focus is simply to stay in joy, and then everything else will come, with that. And so, yeah. Jen?
I just wanted to say that finding out that my brain and I can have thoughts, but as long as I let them kind of like let them go, like I'll have a bad thought and be like, oh, I don't need to believe that. But once it's like, you guys all had talked about feeling, and once I found out, like, wait a minute, so if I put more feeling into that bad thought, it's going to come. So if I put the energy into that good feeling, a positive feeling, a good outlook, then it's going to manifest itself. And just learning that has just really freed me, because I used to really punish myself for having bad thoughts. Like I'd be like, oh man, why did I say this, why did I think this? And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of share exactly that if you keep the feeling, whatever feeling you want, that's going to help things manifest. Whereas if you can still have all of your thoughts and like let them go, and don't concentrate on them, and don't put feeling towards them. It's the ones that you do want to have come to manifestation, and that's where you put your energy and your feelings to. And just learning that little tool is just so freeing to me. So I just wanted to share that with everyone as well.
I cannot remember the name of the author, but there is a book called The Untethered Soul, and it talks about being the observer and watching those thoughts go by, but not attaching yourself to them, not attaching yourself to the stories of them. And that's a way for you to do that exactly what, because what is it that you want to put your focus on, and you can have a million thoughts go by, but that doesn't mean that you have to attach your frequency to those thoughts, right? Just like they say, everything that's out there is always going to be out there, and it depends on where you are vibrating, what you're going to be drawing towards you from it. So I think that's great that you've been able to find that for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other thoughts or comments before we move into our fun next couple of weeks? All right. Well, I am so happy that the meetup was on the correct day in the group, and I'm super happy that everyone was able to attend tonight. And I absolutely look forward to hearing about all of your fun creation box experiences over the next couple of weeks. And I do put it out there, of course, again, that I would love for each of you to consider the idea of potentially volunteering to guide us through a meditation. It's just a great opportunity to expand and to share of yourself with the group in a wonderful way. And so I've really been enjoying the different experiences that we've had with that. And I invite you to consider being a part of that as well. So with that, I really appreciate everybody being here this evening, and thank you so much. And I guess that's it. Okay.
Well, thank you for doing this, and thank you for providing this gathering.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and speaking of that, before we go, Elena, is this her group is this Wednesday?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot.
But that's okay.
This Wednesday, I'll put it in the chat. This
Okay.
Wednesday at 6:30, same time.
Yes.
I'm hosting the meetup group called the Abraham Hicks Law of Attraction Seattle group. And it's free. I actually created already the note, and I forgot about this.
And then also, of course, Sonia is leading the Money and the Law of Attraction group that is next Wednesday at 6:30. So that's on our meetup page. You can find the event on there if you would like to attend that group. It's been a wonderful addition to this one. And then Leo, his actually was last week. So the next one is the first Thursday in November, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So first Thursday in November will be Leo's meetup group, Law of Attraction and Beyond. So I invite you to copy those links if you'd like, and join their meetup pages and attend some of the other groups as well. Okay, so that's it for the evening. I will do my best. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but our last meeting is not up on the YouTube yet. So I'll see if I can get my tail caught up since I've been, singing my heart out, and get those up for us. And I look forward to seeing everybody next time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
You
Thank
too.
See you next